And we're doing a live stream with Josh soon, Josh the Ancient,
Yeah.
straight from the Cosmic Summit where we all
Yeah.
met in person. But we are sitting here with Chris Cottrell, researcher, podcast guest, and speaker at the Cosmic Summit, content creator at Dabbler's Den, and now published scientist and author.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Multiverse, Chris.
Yeah. Good to be back, guys. Good to be back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Last time you were on the show, we did a Cosmic Monday, so we were just kind of hyping up the show, but really we wanted to bring you back to kind of just hear the full story. But I didn't realize so much was. Let's just start now because I did with the big news. Mike, did you know he was publishing a book?
I happened to be checking Twitter this past weekend, which I normally don't always get on Twitter, but I was on Twitter while I was at work on Saturday, and I saw right then and there, Chris Cottrell is publishing a new book. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I texted Dave and Brittany immediately, and they were like, "Yep, sure enough, he's on the schedule next week." So this is great.
Yeah. I wanted to have it published. I think I wanted to try to get it published today, to make sure that it was going out at least by our meeting today. But I was like, it's ready. I was ready like last week. I had to push the go button.
Well, it works out good because you're going to be our December book of the month.
Cool. Thank you.
This episode's scheduled to release like that first Friday of the month anyway, so it's going to be perfect. So you'll be our December book of the month.
Oh, that's cool.
So congratulations, man. Were you keeping it a secret, or was it like
No.
I don't remember hearing about it, but maybe I just didn't ask.
Okay, so last time we talked, we had a whole conversation about publishing a paper.
Yes.
Yeah, because one of the big things, I was sharing the stage this summer at the Cosmic Summit with Antonio Zamora, who's my research partner, but we don't agree on a lot. Actually, we agree on a lot, but some of the key, the key ingredients for the Carolina Bays, we have differing opinions. So it was kind of a hard process to write a paper with somebody that you don't agree with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We wanted to stick to the science. We wanted to stick to the facts, and try to keep our own biases separate and out of the paper. And that we kind of wanted to include or not include the timing at all. Like we were just going to focus on the ellipticity of these Carolina Bays and how many there are that are perfect mathematical ellipses. But we found through the process, it was a really long process. I mean, it took us almost 8 months. Basically, that was my like ticket back to the Cosmic Summit to be a speaker, was to bring Antonio on and actually present this stuff together, because I'd already taught my spiel for 2 summers, and this time it was like we got to bring something more to the table. Let's publish a paper together, and we spent 8 months. It was grueling. It was hard. We would submit it to a paper, to a journal, to go under review, and they would just look at it and be like, yeah, that's not what we're going to do here. And so rejection is a big part of it. I mean, it was like, oh God, man, come on, we gotta find somebody.
When you say grueling, are you talking about like hours, like editing and resubmitting and waiting? But are we also talking about like field stuff too, or?
A little bit of that. We had to go back at the last minute and kind of add some things and things that we didn't really anticipate having to add. Because every time you submitted a paper to somebody, it would come back with some feedback, and we try to incorporate all of that feedback. And it's funny, we both thought we had a really good product to present, and all the feedback that came back, we were like, and every time we would keep adding more and more and more to it. So by the time the final paper actually did get approved and published and went through peer review and all that, it was kind of a different paper, but a much better paper. All of those little steps that we took along the way helped to make it a much more complete paper. We just had to be really careful with how we wrote it, because like I said, we don't agree with about the timing for sure. So we had to really spend some time in a discussions section of the paper to go through those reasons and the steps and the reasons why we disagree, without it sounding like we're disagreeing. You know what I mean? Like these are the two options. Let's weigh them out, kind of a thing. And that actually helped me too, because our presentation at the Cosmic Summit was really, going, talking about the ellipticity, and my portion was to talk about both sides. And I've been a part of both sides. I've been an advocate for the Younger Dryas as being, the creation of these Carolina Bays. And then I came across evidence that made me change my mind, and I had to redirect. I had to go another direction because the evidence was so strong that I couldn't support the Younger Dryas impact anymore for the cause of the formation of the Carolina Bays. And so I know both sides, and so being able to present that helped. But back to the book. So that was kind of a really big thing. We finally did get that paper published, literally like the month of the Cosmic Summit, like to it, not sure if I have something solid, and literally like a week or two before the Cosmic Summit into the June edition of the Geology and Earth Systems or Science of that journalists. I don't know why I tell us it's like so important. But anyway, yeah. So that went out.
That's cool though. I like there's something to be said, right, Chris, about like you guys fundamentally disagreeing on like a portion of the research, because it really it forced you guys to like dial it in and find a narrow lane so that it could get accepted, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like these are the things that we agree about. That we're not, we can focus on that. And we had to, towards the end, include the things that we don't disagree about. And I think that was good too. I think that needed to happen in that paper. That was one of the things that people kept bringing up. Is like, well, when did you think these happened? And it's such an important part of the story, because when they get brought up as part of the Younger Dryas, it turns a lot of people off or it turns a lot of people on. And, we've got to just lay out all the facts. And still to this day, Antonio thinks that this is a Younger Dryas event, and I've had to change my mind. So that was what we brought to the Cosmic Summit this year. I think we did a good job getting that recorded, and that's out there now. But one of the things I noticed while I was there was how many people were selling their books, right? You got Scott Walter there selling his books, and even Billy Carson showed up, just basically to sell his books. And I was like, I should have something. I should have something to put out there. And so after the Cosmic Summit, I was like, well, that was done, and to be quite honest, like the paper writing process burned me out, man. That was tough. That was really tough. And I mean, I may never go back and write another paper again. I'm not going to say never, but it's not something I'm ready to jump back into, because it was just grueling. Like I said, I was glad it was done. I was glad it was published, but it was hard. Writing the book, way easier. It was so much easier. I had because I had all of this information, anyways. And some of the stuff was in things that some of the stuff that's in the book, you really don't want to put into a peer reviewed paper, because it's, it is speculation, or it is, it's my own biases and things like that are included, which would be hard, but it could be the basis of a paper later on, but I just wanted to get the stuff down. I had all these thoughts. I had all these ideas, and we just need to print and have actually something that's fit to get some back, because it's not cheap. Even just the publishing of the paper isn't cheap. It was very expensive, and we didn't have grants or funds or anything like that to go in, so it came out of our own pockets to actually have this paper funded. All the peer reviewers have to be paid, the editors have to be paid, and so It's not a cheap process. And that's one of the I guess the blocks for a lot of people getting their ideas out there. What's the word I'm looking for? It's you're just not able to express yourself because you can't, it's too expensive or whatever. So it was very difficult. So
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you're locked into your circumstances, right? I mean, you
yeah,
can't. And there's probably a lot of people in that circumstance, people with good ideas who don't have the time or money or the institutional backing to kind
right,
of,
right.
you know,
And it's kind of done like that on purpose,
questions.
Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of these papers, they have to write, they have to get like really extensive grants, and then a lot of that money goes towards the publication fees, and it shouldn't be that way. It's pretty tough, but it has to be taken seriously too. And like I said, the other people have to get paid, and so, anyways, it's just really expensive. So I'm kind of glad that I have something now that I can at least say, well, I do have this, and it's for sale. And maybe we can recoup it, maybe like a couple dollars a piece, but yeah. So
Well, that's
and
awesome. And
yeah,
we certainly look forward to holding a copy of this book and digging into it and
I am
reading
too.
it.
Some people have been getting copies of it, and I'm like, I don't even have a copy of my book yet. So,
They must, maybe they live closer to the printing center or the distribution center.
yeah, or the Amazon Prime delivery person.
Yeah.
I live kind of out in the sticks. I think I get in the last of the line.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to take it
Yeah.
all the way back as far as you're willing to go back. And if you could tell us a little bit about what inspired you to become a scientist. You're a scientist and an educator. What set you down the path that you are on today?
Yeah, I think I've always, I know that I've always enjoyed science, even as a kid. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, and we were always outside. We were always playing. We were smashing rocks and seeing what was inside of them. And the other thing was my dad was military, so we moved a lot. And we would move from Connecticut, where I was born, to Hawaii, then to Washington State, and then back to Connecticut, and then from Connecticut down to Georgia. And most of the times when we moved, we would pack up and literally in the bed of a pickup truck with nothing but a metal tin, camper top, we would haul ourselves across the country, with the four of us, my mom, my dad, and myself and my sister. And my dad literally bolted a couple boat seats in the back of the truck, and off we went. And we stopped at all the places. We stopped at the Grand Canyon, and we stopped at Yosemite and Yellowstone and things like that. I think the last time we moved, that was probably 5 or 6 years old when we were doing those kind of things. And those, they really stick. That was a time where, those memories really, really kind of stuck with me. And just the intrigue stuck with me for a long time. So yeah, I was just always interested in sciences and mostly biology and ecology. Actually, when I was growing up, I was really interested in the ecology of things. And through the process of, going through high school and things like that, we spent a lot of time on the water, fishing and surfing and things like that. And so I was actually going to go to school to be a marine biologist. And trying to find a program here in South Georgia that had marine biology was pretty difficult. So the process was I would have to go get an undergrad in biology, and then hopefully be able to advance later on into a marine biology program or something like that at another school farther away, like UGA or something like that. And so anyway, I went to a smaller school, Georgia Southern University, and my freshman year was abysmal. It was terrible. I did so bad. And it wasn't really, we did the partying and things like that, and we spent a lot of time traveling to Savannah and back home and things like that.
It sounds like you did it right, though, Chris.
Exactly.
First year, yeah, freshman year, it's okay.
I don't regret anything. I'll tell you that. I've made lots of mistakes, but I don't regret any of them.
Subscribe to Mike and Dave's Multiverse on YouTube, Spotify, and Rumble today.